Shalom, shalom, Aliyah. This is the third day Aliyah of Parashah Beshalach, Exodus chapter 14, verse 15 through 25, dealing with the split waters and also the green grass in the split waters. The next new moon that we're supposed to keep as a holy day will be February. Shalom. Will be February 3rd, and the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover, is going to be so-called April 18th to April 19th. And the last day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, is going to be April 24th to April 25th. So we must keep these days as holy days. Okay. Hashab Yal Gabar, Shalom, Hallelujah. So as we move into this Torah portion, we have about 11 verses to read. My reader is Aliyah Nanai Shaman Ban Parashah. And we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. We're going to bring out some more things also from the book of Wisdom of Solomon that gives a little more details about what happened once the waters split for the Sea of Reeds. Okay, so let's get started. Chapter 14 of Exodus, and we're going to read verses 15 through 25.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Yashar'Allah, that they go forward.
So Yahweh told Moses, like the people tripping, while they crying to me, go ahead forward, man. Don't stop the movement. Keep moving forward. Right, go ahead.
But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it, and the children of Yashar'Allah shall go on the dry ground through the midst of the sea.
So he said, lift up your rod, the staff that Moshe had, so that the sea, the waters are going to split now. And once the waters split, they're going to be walking on dry land. Not only dry land, but they're going to be walking on grass. And we're going to read that in the Wisdom of Solomon, that they were actually walking on grass. All right, go ahead.
And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians.
So he's going to make the Egyptians become hard-headed and proud. Go ahead.
And they shall follow them. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his host, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen.
So he's going to get honor upon Pharaoh, meaning that he's going to use Pharaoh just to make his own name great. Yahweh is going to use Pharaoh so that people will know that he is the power, that he's the almighty power, and that he can do whatever he wants to do. He can bring death, he can bring life. So he's using Pharaoh so that we may know what is his power, his tremendous, great, righteous, and holy power. Go ahead.
And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen.
So when it says gotten honor, it means that he's gonna become famous and show his power at the expense of Pharaoh. It means that everybody's gonna see that he is Yahweh, that he is powerful at the expense of Pharaoh. So he's just using Pharaoh as an example to show that he is the almighty power Yahweh. Read.
And the angel of Aliyah.
That this angel of Aliyah goes into, is it talking about Yahushua? Is it talking about the messenger of messengers of the Most High? All right, go ahead.
And the angel of Aliyah, which went before the camp of Yashar'Allah, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them, and it came between the camp.
So the cloud was leading them. So it's the daytime. The cloud is usually leading them in the daytime, but now that cloud has went from the front and said, you know what? I got to go to the rear, and I got to show myself my power in the rear. All right, go ahead.
And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Yashar'Allah.
So the Egyptians are trying to kind of come up on us. Egyptians are trying to run toward us and they trying to what? The Egyptians are trying to run toward us, and they want to, attack us. For what reason? They told us to get out of Egypt because the Most High was bringing death and destruction upon them. And now we left Egypt, and they said, well, let's go and get them. All right, go ahead.
And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these.
So now nighttime is giving us, that cloud is giving us light. But that same cloud, all right, is giving them what? Darkness. So once again, we see that divide between the darkness and the light. All right, so, but it gave light by night to these. Go ahead.
So that the other one came not near to the other all the night.
So all night, the Most High made us to continue in the light, even though it was dark. So he gave us light. So the cloud became a light for us at night. And then the same cloud on the opposite side that was facing away from us, that part of the cloud became a light, became darkness unto the Egyptians. All right. So once again, we see that badal, we see that division between light and dark that is so prevalent. That's the prevalent theme throughout so many scriptures. All right, go ahead. So once again, the darkness is facing the African Hamites, Egyptians. The light is facing us, the children of Yasharallah. So we see the light. And our back is to the darkness. So as long as we facing, toward the direction we going, the darkness stays at our back. But in order for us to walk into the darkness and walk toward the darkness, we have to turn our back to the light. And we got to walk toward that darkness. But who would do that, right? Who would turn from the light and walk toward darkness, death, and destruction? But that's what our people do. When they want to worship on these pagan days, when they want to follow false gods, and now you have schisms within the body of Israel itself, with people doing the Sabbath on different days, and people following the new moons at different times, and people saying what books are holy books, what books are not holy books. So many schisms and so many divisions that Yasharallah has going on right now. You see, but there's only one truth, and that one truth isn't known and isn't received by everyone. Right, so we can't turn our back to the light and face the darkness. We have to keep facing the light. What we know is the light, and we can't face the darkness. We have to stay away from those things that we know Yahweh doesn't want us walking in, and only do those things that we know 100% the right way we're supposed to go. All right, go ahead.
And Masha stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided.
So the waters were split up. The waters were divided. So Masha's putting his rod up in the air. All right, the rod of power, the rod of Aliyah, the rod of God Almighty. And he's putting it in the air. And when he puts it in the air, it causes the water to split and to divide. All right, so the power of Yahweh within the hand of the righteous, the faith, using the instruments of faith that the Most High have given us, will cause the waters to split, the waters to divide, and we see that going on right now in the book of Exodus. Go ahead.
And the children of Yasharallah went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground.
So they went into the middle of the sea, but it was dry. The sea was no longer a wet ocean, a wet river, excuse me. It was no longer a wet sea. It was dry. The sea, everything what they were walking on, it was dry. All right, go ahead.
And the waters were a wall unto them.
The waters were standing straight and solid on the left and the right sides. Read.
On their right hand and on their left.
So on the left hand and the right hand, the water had risen up, and the water had become like a wall, solid wall, a wall of water. All right, so he split the waters, stood them straight up, and it became like a solid wall. This is the power of Yahweh. This is his power. He controls the elements, and he gave Solomon the secrets of how these elements worked. And when you look at the wisdom of Solomon, all right, go ahead.
And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them in the midst of the sea.
So now here they go with pride. You don't think that the Most High is going to drop down this wall of water on you when you're trying to follow after his people to do evil and wickedness upon them, to defy Yahweh? But he gave them a puffed up mind. He gave them a proud heart. Read.
Even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, Yahweh.
So this is early in the morning watch. Go ahead.
That in the morning watch, Yahweh looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off the chariot wheels.
So now they driving after the Israelites. Remember, they driving after us in their chariots. So now Yahweh, he ran them till the wheels fell off. So now the wheels are falling off of their chariots. Go ahead.
That they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Yashar'Allah, for Yahweh fighteth for them against the Egyptians.
So they said, Yahweh is fighting for these people. We need to get away from them because we don't want no parts of this judgment that he's bringing upon them. All right, so let's go into the book of Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha. Okay, we're going to go into the Wisdom of Solomon. And let's say we want to go into Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see where we want to start at. So when we're going to the Wisdom of Solomon, what we're going to see is that when the Most High, when he brought us through the waters, right? When he brought us through that water, the water had actually started to change. And when the water changed, man, this when they were walking in that water, actually let's when they're walking in that water, let's go back. When they were walking in that water, that the water had actually started to turn the ground that they were walking on grassy. So he made these walls on the left and the right side, and then it became grass. The grass was under their foot. Let's go to the Wisdom of Solomon. Let's read chapter 19, and we're going to read verses 1 through 7.
As for the ungodly, wrath came upon them without mercy unto the end, for he knew before what they would do.
So the Most High already knew what they were going to do wickedly, what their hearts were, so he gave them no mercy. Go ahead.
Oh, that having given them leave to depart and sent them hastily.
So the Most High gave them leave, so he allowed them, he allowed them to depart, meaning he said, you want to leave? You want to go and chase after the children of Yashar'Allah? Yahweh said, go ahead. Go ahead and run behind them. I'm not going to stop you. So he let them go ahead. He didn't say, you know what, sit down. No, don't do that. He said, go ahead. Read.
and sent them hastily away.
Mm-hmm.
They would repent and pursue them.
They what?
They would repent and pursue him.
Mm-hmm.
For whilst they were yet mourning and making lamentation at the graves of
Wait a minute. So they repented of the good thing that they had done by letting the children of Israel leave. So they repented of the good. They repented of the good thing that they had done. And it might be a sin that you could have done, and you repent that you didn't do that sin. And I wish I would have did that thing when I had the opportunity. So here they are mad that they did the right thing. Go ahead, read.
For whilst they were yet mourning and making lamentation at the graves of
So whilst they were yet mourning and making lamentation at the graves of the dead. So people were still crying, and people were still sad that their loved ones, the firstborn of every family, of every man, had died. Read.
They added another foolish device and pursued them as fugitives, whom they had entreated to be gone.
So now the scripture said that they asked for the children of Israel. They said, yo, let them go. And then once we left, it says that they chased after us. All right, so now the Most High is showing you that this is foolishness to oppose him or his people. So there's a lot of people out there that don't want us to wake up our people because they holding our people slaves and we're doing good jobs for them. The Most High is saying, you're going to let us go. And when you let us go, ain't going to be no chasing nobody this time. All right, read.
For the destiny whereof they were worthy drew them unto this end.
So the Most High said that they got exactly what they deserved. He gave them the reward for their own hearts. He rewarded them accordingly. Okay, read.
And made them forget the things that had already happened.
So the Most High blocked their memory. Like, you know what? I'm not even. So they wasn't paying none of that stuff no mind. They weren't saying, well, you know what? We just went through this bad thing. We just went through this destruction. We just went through this death. So let's leave them alone. The Most High didn't let them do that. The Most High made them forget all of the evil that just happened to them. Read.
That they might fulfill the punishment which was wanting to their torment.
So the Most High had something waiting for them, and they had to fulfill that punishment that was going to torment them even more so. So a lot of times you got to quit while you're ahead, because the Most High could be bringing that judgment upon you. You doing the wrong thing. You're going back and forth between these different doctrines, and you're not really praying and having a relationship with the Most High and with Yahushua. Your relationship is on some mission or some task or some goal that you feel like you need to accomplish, but you're not focusing on your relationship with the Almighty, the relationship with His Son, Hamashiach. All right, go ahead.
And that thy people might pass a wonderful way.
So the people of Yasharallah might pass a wonderful way. Go ahead.
That they might find these strange deaths.
So we passed a wonderful way. So the same things wherein we found wonder and we found a way to get through it. Those are the same things that the Most High brought death, and that was the water. And that's why this character right here in the Hebrew, right, this one right here, is very powerful, because it can represent death, or it can represent life. It can represent, you've been chewed up, you've been ground up, you decomposing, you run your process, your life is over, and now what happens? Now you get buried into the ground, 6 feet deep. Or it can represent the movement that carries you higher and higher and higher and higher. You see that? Or it can represent the movement that takes you lower, below the surface, and it drowns you. The same thing with water. All right, but in this case, the Most High Yahweh, He changed the nature of the water, and He made the water like a wall. So he made the waters like a wall. All right. So as he made this water like a wall, to us, it was a way of life. To us, it was a wonderful way. But to the Hamites, okay, to the Egyptians, to the so-called Africans, it was a strange death. Because here you are driving this chariot through this water, and then bam, all of a sudden the water just collapsed on you, a wall of water. Right?
For the whole creature in its proper kind was fashioned again anew.
So these animals, the Most High created, he fashioned, he changed the nature of the animals that were in the water. Go ahead.
Serving the peculiar commandments that they were given unto them.
So the peculiar commandment that the animals were given were, don't go through this water. Even though you can see, don't go through this water. Don't mess with those people that are going through the water. Just act like nothing has happened. La, 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 la. Oh, there's some people walking in the middle of the water. I was just talking to my mommy shark. So mommy shark is on one side of the water. And then, of course, we know that there wasn't really sharks there. Maybe there were, though. But this mommy shark is on one side of the water. And then this other shark is on the opposite side of the path that the Israelites are walking. So the animals are like, what in the world? So the Most High was like, you know what? I'm going to just change your nature. All right? Because this is a peculiar commandment, meaning this is a very strange commandment I'm giving you. He's telling the animals, don't swim in the water. Don't try to get to the other side of the water. All right? So this is something very strange that's going on with these animals. So even in the scriptures, the Most High has given us the minute details of what's happening with the animals. What's the animals' thoughts? The animals thinking this is peculiar. So now you're not going to be able to get another book outside the Bible that gives you this really beautiful and poetic detail. No special motive was being taught here. There's no special lesson of a specific topic. It's just all wrapped up together in one. And that's the beauty of the Bible. It's all wrapped up together in one. You look in different places, and then you can see the beautiful symmetry that Yahweh has given us. It's not like there's a special chapter in the Bible that tells you this is how you keep the new moon. I'd be very suspicious if I found a book popped up out of nowhere that says this is how you're supposed to observe the new moon, or this is how you're supposed to count the days of the hours of the night and the hours of the day. I'd be very suspicious of that book because I don't really see anything like that in this book. All right, continue on.
That thy children might be kept without hurt.
So these animals would have hurt the children of Israel, Yasharallah. These animals would have hurt the Banya Yasharallah. All right, now when we say, when you read in the Bible, and it says the children, okay, of Israel, this is what it says. Okay. It says Banya, which means sons, and then it says Banya Yashar Banya Yashar Allah. You hear children of Israel in the Bible, it says Banya Yashar Allah, just like we have on the chart on the other side over there, but you can't see that one. All right. So if you want to write that in the ancient, the Paleo Hebrew, you would write like this. Banya, and then you would write Ya, Yashar, and then Ah, and La. Banya Yashar Allah. All right. And then if you say, well, you know what? I don't want to use the paleo. You know, I want to use the modern type of Hebrew. Then you write it like this. You say, Ban, Ya, Banya, and then you have a Ya again, Ya, and you have the Shin, Shar, Ah, Banya, Yashar. And that's how you write it in the modern. And then if you say, you know what? I want to write it in the Samaritan text. Well, then you're going to have to look on your paper because I'm not about to write it in the Samaritan text. So, sorry. All right. So, of course, you got the letters over there. Could write it if we really wanted to, but wouldn't seem authentic if I'm just copying it off of the paper, and then writing it for you. Wouldn't seem authentic. It would seem like I'm just doing something. All right, so go read, please.
As namely a cloud shadowing the camp.
Now, as namely a cloud was shadowing the camp. Now, the Most High told these creatures, don't hurt the children of Israel. Don't eat them. Don't bite them. Your little big jellyfish, don't put your little stingers on them. All right, go ahead.
And where water stood before.
Water stood before. Go ahead.
Dry land appeared.
So the dry land appeared out of the water. Go ahead.
And out of the Red Sea.
Out of the Sea of Reeds, out of the Red Sea, the waters of reeds. What happened?
A way without impediment.
A way without impediment. That means that every rock, every crack, anything that could affect negatively a person's walking was removed. Just a straight path, no impediments, right? No shrubbery, no rocks, nothing in the path, just a clear path. Go ahead.
And out of the violent stream.
Out of the violent stream. So the Most High came through, that east wind came, and that east wind was strong, it cut the water. And you had a wall on the left and a wall on the right. So once it cut that water, let's see what Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 19, verse 7, tells us when it cut that water. When that east wind came and cut that water and the water split, let's see what came at the bottom of the water. Read.
A green field.
A green field. So the Most High made all of the walkway where they were stepping through, and made everything green. Everything green. Go ahead.
Wherethrough all the people went that were defended with thy hand.
So through all the people went that were defended. What?
With thy hand.
With thy hand. Go ahead.
Seeing thy marvelous strange wonders.
Seeing thy marvelous and strange wonders. All right, keep reading.
For they went at large like horses.
For they went at large like horses. So they were just galloping and running on through, happy. All right?
And leaped like lambs.
So they were leaping like the lamb, jumping up and down and all happy and real geeked up and sized. They all sized up now. Go ahead.
Praising thee.
So they were praising the Most High. Go ahead.
O Yahweh, who hadst delivered them.
Who had delivered them. All right, so this is what happened when we left out of Egypt. This is the power that Yahweh showed us. He turned the waters, he turned the stream into a wall and turned the murky, wet bottom of the river of the sea floor, supposed to be muddy or sandy or something. He changed that into just beautiful green grass. So we just walking like we walking a Persian carpet, soft and fluffy. No rocks were in it, nothing to trip over, no cracks, just perfect grass blooming. All right. All of a sudden. So this is the power, that Yahweh displayed toward us. All right. So when we think about Yahweh, we have to think about and we have to remember, we have to remember his power. And we also need to remember that he's going to show this power again. Right. We have to remember that he's going to bring this same type of death, the same type of destruction. He's going to bring this same type of judgment upon North America. All right, upon North, he's going to bring the same judgment, the same death that we see. The continual theme is, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to bring death to you. I'm going to bring destruction. So don't bring death upon yourself. Don't bring death upon your family. Don't bring death upon your daughters and your son. You love your family, man. But you're going to bring death. If you're a man, you're supposed to be leading your family through obedience to the Most High. If not, you're the enemy of your own children. If you lead your children into compromise, if you lead your children into, they don't really got to do what this says. Oh, we can just blend in with the world and do the things that the world does. Go ahead to this dance over here. Go ahead to this dance over here. Oh, go ahead to the prom. Go ahead and hang out with the boy's little daughter. Or little son, go ahead and date the little girls. All right, you go ahead and do the things that the world do. We'll just put this Israelite stuff on the background. I'll just talk and teach you certain things every now and then, but we're really not going to live that type of Hebrew lifestyle because it's not that serious. And that's why the scripture says that many shall come in that day and say, Lord, Lord, did not we do many good works, cast out demons from people, and do many good works in your name? And Yahweh, the scripture says he's going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you. So don't chase and pursue death. Don't chase and pursue in the darkness. Chase after righteousness. Chase after the light and follow the light of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. So this is going to be, what we do. All right. So, that's going to be the conclusion. And there's nothing really else that we can bring up. There's some points of wisdom. There's some points of wisdom that we see here. We see equity, that left and right side, of the balance. We see that. We see righteous judgment, of the Most High. We see the mazamah. We see the plan of the Most High from the beginning. Right? We see the plan of the Most High from the beginning. He changing their heart. And he said, you know what, go get these people, and this is what I want y'all to do. And while you going to do this, I'm really setting you up for the fall so I can show my power. All right. So we see the knowledge, we see the understanding, we know why the Most High did what he did, and we see the plan of execution of how he carried it out. And we see, he's being equitable because the African Hamites in Egypt are all kinds of death and destruction and injustice upon us. So that Most High is saying, Yahweh is saying, I'm going to pay you back for what you did. So that's justice. That's righteous for him to do that. So the Most High said, this is my judgment. We're going to execute it and carry it out. And then they actually do it. And that when they actually do that judgment, now they're walking in wisdom. So now Yahweh himself is the personification of wisdom. And all his action is righteous and is just. All right. So that's what we want to go over, tonight. Thank you for joining us. And Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, shall bless you. Now remember, the next new moon is going to be February 3rd. And after that, the new year is going to be April 4th. So February 3rd to February 4th at sunset is going to be the new moon. And then April 4th, okay, until April 4th, until April 5th is going to be the new year. Now, the first day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, is going to be April 18th to April 19th, sunset to sunset. And the last day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, is going to be April 24th until April 25th. So make sure you observe those days properly. And as we get closer and closer and closer what I'll do is start to share with you some of the details about how to get prepared, how to be ready, and have yourself a spiritually successful Pesach and Chag HaMatzawa, Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. So may Yahweh be with you in the name of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right, I love you as my brother and as my sister. All right, Shalom Lekam.